You can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains, we gon' walk it out, and you can move mountains, and I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I like the waves, I rise up, in spite of the ache, I rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. You, the silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we would take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains, and I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. All we need is hope, and for that we have each other, and for that we have each other. And we will rise, we will rise, we'll rise. Oh, we'll rise.
Good evening, everybody. We are live at 5 on Facebook. Welcome to the Lancashire User Forum tonight, guys. Just want to tell you a little bit about Lancashire User Forum. We create a safe space, and it's for anybody who's suffering with any sort of addiction, whether it be drugs, alcohol, any sort of mental health. Come and get connected, guys. Get the like and share button hit. Let's get as many people as we possibly can in tonight. I'm Brad, I'm a lead volunteer for Red Rose Recovery. I'd just like to introduce Emily.
Hello guys, we're going to wing it tonight, so it's going to be very fun and games. And I'm Emily, I work for Red Rose Recovery, and I'm also in recovery myself. I'm going to be doing my life story tonight, so I'll try not to bore you all too much. I want to introduce Stuart, who's going to be doing the comments. Do you want to say hello, Stuart?
I've got the feeling there might be a bit of a time link here. So I'm Stuart, I'm a lead volunteer for Red Rose, and I'll be reading out the chats if I'm in sync.
That's fine, thank you. We've also got Dave Bartram. Do you want to just introduce yourself, Dave?
Hi, my name's Dave, and I'm the minister at Trinity Baptist Church in Bacup.
Thank you. And Ben, magic! I was trying to get hold of you. I was panicking.
Hello, Yay! You're right.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, technology and me are not good fits, I'm afraid. I tried to log on, it wasn't working. I clicked something else. It finally came up with about 1 million enter the Zoom session things at the top of my screen, so I apologise for arriving late.
Don't worry, you're here.
I am here. I'm a bit never done this kind of thing before. I'm a bit camera shy, so Only realised on Friday it was being kind of delivered out across Facebook, but hey, I'll have to just get over my own personal kind of.
We're very grateful.
Yeah, we are very, very grateful.
Okay,
Very
cool.
grateful.
Cool.
Thank you. So just introduce yourself. So where are you from, Ben?
I work for Inspire in Accrington. I've changed jobs recently. I was doing the assessments and triages, and we had a bit of a restructure, and I'm now the community educator for East Lancs Inspire.
Magic. Thank you. Well, it's lovely. Well, do you know what? There's people already watching. Stuart, can you see? I just need to say hello to Anthony Horwitz because I asked him to come on to watch because I'm just like that.
Yeah.
And Adam Lee Dooley, my neighbour.
Brilliant.
Is there anybody else, Stuart, before we move on to Dave?
Just people saying hello. We've got Bev Webster, who I love. She's great. Works for Red Rose. Chris Rowland, Steve Jenkinson, Dan Littlechild as well. Good to see you, Dan. Still back in the fold. So yeah, just don't forget to like and share, please.
Yeah, and we've got Paul Buchan. Nice to see you, Dave Bartram.
Yeah, Paul Bequan from Active
Bequan,
Lancashire.
sorry, Paul Bequan. So yeah, so basically I asked Dave to come on because I saw a few things on Facebook of what Dave does at the Trinity Baptist Church in Bacup, and Bacup's a little community, and sometimes we get, but we lose where what's going on in our communities, and Bacup's quite a small place, but there's quite a lot of people that struggle up there. I love it. I love the community in Bacup. I love the people, the real characters. And I saw a post when football was on at the Trinity Baptist Church that they were providing a safe space. So they provided the building and a safe space. So I wanted Dave to come on to just give a little bit of a talk of what they offer at the church, what's going on. And I just thought it'd be really interesting and helpful for people in the area, in the community. And obviously the theme for this week's LUF is community. So I'll let you give a little talk about what you offer in Bacup, please, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, so I mean, I've been the minister here at Trinity I've been here for 5 years, but I was kind of co-minister for 3 of those, working alongside someone else. So I've been kind of the minister for 2 years here on my own. And we've got a vision as a church that we want to be good news to the community. We think when we read the stories of Jesus in the Bible, that Jesus, he wasn't someone who just talked about being good news, but he was good news. Like you see these stories and like crowds of people follow him, and it's not because of the words that he was saying, it's because they got fed or they got healed or they saw like amazing things happen. And like everywhere he went, he was good news to people, and people's lives were changed. And so we, as a church, we've got a vision that's what we want to do in our communities. We want to be good news, and we want to help people and see lives transformed in loads of different ways. And we were starting to do bits of that kind of pre-lockdown, pre-COVID, but the last 18 months have kind of given us, I guess, lots of opportunities, because there's been lots of more people in need and lots more things that we could do and get involved in. And again, another kind of key thing that we do is we want to work with partners. We're not sort of arrogant enough to believe that we've got all the answers and that we can do everything ourselves. So we work together with other agencies to do various things for our community. The big one, I think, is the food bank. So we work again in partnership with supermarkets, so Morrison's and Tesco's and Asda, as well as other food banks like Raft and Positive Start, to provide a kind of drop-in food bank on a Friday evening in Bacup. And as far as I know, like we're the only kind of food bank in Bacup. Like I know Raft kind of cover the whole of the valley, and they do much bigger food parcels than we do, but we're the kind of only one. that I know of in Baker. I know there are sort of food boxes where you can go and help yourself. But on a Friday night, so every Friday from 6 till 7, we open our doors and we have a range of kind of fresh food, as well as tinned and dried food and cleaning products and things like that. And basically, we don't ask any questions. There's no forms to fill in, anything like that. People can just turn up, and basically, if you tell us that you need food, then we take you at your word, and so you can come and you can help yourself and get food through that. And at the moment as well, we've got a special thing for school-age children. So we're doing kind of lunch, like packed lunch, packed up. So you get like a loaf of bread and a pack of meat or a pack of cheese and some fruit and some crisps and some drinks, just to help provide that lunches for children who potentially would have been getting fed at school. So yeah, so that's kind of our big thing. But we also work with Active Lancashire. So Paul, who was saying hi to me in the chats, is from Active Lancashire, and we work with them to do a community drop-in on a Thursday morning. So Thursday 10 till 12. And again, it's kind of free to come along, and there's tea and coffee and biscuits and bacon butties and toast and yeah, pretty much whatever we can muster together, really, for kind of breakfast snacky sort of stuff. And there's a worker there from Active Lancashire who will can offer support with employment, things like that. If you're looking for either volunteering opportunities or looking for trying to get back into work, there's a worker there from Active Lancashire. Or if it's just you need someone to talk to, like again, the last 18 months has seen a real struggle with people being isolated and stuck at home, and so just being able to get out of the house and go and sit and chat to someone for half an hour or an hour is a real blessing, I think, at the moment. And so that's kind of what we provide on a Thursday morning. And then kind of going forward, we've got plans to expand that and to do some kind of like life skills around that. So kind of some budgeting courses and some simple cooking courses and things like that, which will potentially help, as well as a job club. So we partner with a charity called CAP, which is Christians Against Poverty, and they do kind of debt relief, but also do a job club. And so we partner with them, and we're looking to try and get them to come and run their job club, hopefully on a Thursday afternoon. So it would follow on from our community drop-in. And then, like you said, we partnered together with other people to provide a safe space during the football for people who didn't feel safe at home. And so that was just, we kind of provided the venue for that, but we didn't run that. And there's plans to do that again for the World Cup in, that's about just over a year's time, isn't there? So I think so every time England play, there would be that kind of safe space available, again, with tea, coffee, biscuits, foods. So yeah, so that's what we do on top of the services and other normal churchy activities. But yeah, we've got a real heart for wanting to be good news and to be connected with the community, and so we want to work in partnership with other people, but we really do want to be good news and to see people healed and recover. And the world's kind of broken, isn't it, in lots of different ways. The world's broken, and we're all broken in different ways. And so part of the vision of the church is seeing people put back together little by little. And so however we can do that, we're interested in looking at how to do that and working to do that. So sorry, I probably spoke miles too long there.
No, that's fantastic. When you say broken, my little saying is, right, I know people go, oh, here we go. I always say we're broken biscuits, but I like broken biscuits. I actually went on holiday to Cleveland. I went to B&M and they had a box of broken biscuits. I took a picture of it and put it on Facebook. I was that excited But we are broken. We are. And do you know what? This COVID has really brought it, it's heightened it, you know, that people really are struggling. And the fact that what you've just said, you know, all that's involved in a little town, you know, Bake Up, and I'm sure a lot of people will be interested. I mean, Stuart, I don't know if you can put it onto the comments at Bake Up Trinity Baptist Church, so people know where this is all happening. And the fact that you say, you know, that so what was it, Christy? What was the other group that helped?
So there's Active Lancashire, and then there's Christians Against Poverty.
Active Lancashire and Christians Against Poverty. Yeah, so like you say, you know, sometimes people don't have anyone to talk to, you know, that is their lifeline, just being able to go into the community and have a cup of tea and a sandwich, and the fact that you're helping children as well. You know, that children, like you say, some children, they don't, at home, you know, the parents are struggling, and their meal that they get is when they're at school. So when the school's shut, you know, the fact that you can offer that as well is massive, and that'll help a lot of families. I just didn't know that any of this was going on. And that's why I just think it's really interesting and really helpful to bring yourself on, you know, so that people are aware. I mean, does it get busy? Do you get quite a lot of people?
Yeah. So the drop-in is, we've got a really nice group of about maybe kind of 15 to 20 who were coming every week, and then we closed for for 18 months, and it's just starting to pick up. So we're kind of maybe getting 5 or 6 each week along to that. But I mean, we've got space obviously for more people to come along to that. And then the food bank, yeah, I say unfortunately, because like I'm always really sad that we need a food bank, and in this day and age, I kind of feel like, you know, it'd be great if there was never a need for a food bank. But that can get busy. So anywhere from sort of maybe 20 people each week to 50, 60, like it just depends. Because like I say, we don't do any checks, and we don't do anything. So if you need food that week, then you can turn up and get it. And some people come every week because they need it, and some people just come as a one-off or every now and again. And that's, you know, we all have different needs, don't we?
And I think that's the beautiful thing, is because people feel a bit embarrassed, don't they? And they don't want to be asked, like, you know, why, you know, like you say, the checks, you're not judged. And that's the beautiful thing about, you're not judged, you're not asked any questions. If you need your food, you come and get your food, and that's it. And I think that's really important for people, because like you say, you know, it's accessible, it's there for a reason, and people shouldn't be judged. They shouldn't be judged. It's
no, and shouldn't feel embarrassed about coming. Like we all need help from time to time, you know. Like I've had periods in my life where I've really struggled financially and been struggling, and thankfully I'm not in that position now, but there's nothing to say that, you know, in the future I won't be. And I would really hope that there'll be someone there to help me out when I need it. So.
Absolutely. No, and I think it's really important. And like I said, you know, I know quite a few people that are in Bake Up, and I know that they'd be very grateful. And I just think it's really important that we sort of spread this awareness. And this is what the Lancashire User Forum is, you know, it is about for everybody. You know, it doesn't matter what hardships they're going through. It doesn't have to be drug and alcohol addicts, you know, mental health, everything. It's just important that they know that there is somewhere that they can go for a safe space, or to just go and have a chat, for a bit of company, for food. And I just think it's really important. And I'm really grateful that you've come on to tell us what's going on. Hopefully we can spread that, and that if there's any posts I can share on the Red Rose Recovery site, you know, from yourselves, I will do, so that and I'll bring some of the volunteers up as well. We'll come up and have a cup of tea and come and say hello. That would be really, that'd be nice. Yeah. Is there any comments, Stuart?
Unfortunately, at the moment, there are none for Dave specifically. If he wants to stick around for a little bit, hopefully ones will come up. But I'll give you a couple of things. We've got Wade Rushton on. Hi, Wade. Hope you're doing okay. I haven't seen you in a while. Joan Moyles says, hi, Emily. We've got Joe Clayton, Jeanette Gerard, who mentioned the broken biscuits.
Well, she did, yeah. She also says she envies Bake Up. What a lovely community spirit. So there you go. Jeanette wants to move to Bake Up. I'm not sure whether I want Jeanette to move to Bake Up because that's a little bit too near for me, Jeanette, near you. But that's another story, Jeanette. But, oh, Dave does a smashing job for Bake Up. They're all coming through now, you see. Now it's all like, yes. I mean, Brad, do you want to say anything? Because I know that you're quite involved with the local church, aren't you, where you are in Burnley? Is there anything you want to say to Dave?
Yeah, so I'm a reborn Christian. I don't know if you remember me, Dave, but I was in Glen Valley last year and I come to have a look at your roof.
Yeah. Yeah, we got in trouble because we sent you up on the roof. But yeah, it was a...
Yeah, so since then I've become a reborn Christian. And so I'm involved with a church on the street who are in Burnley. And you mentioned Christians Against Poverty, and am I right in saying they also help people who are in debt as well?
Yeah, so that's the main thing that the Christians Against Poverty do. So they do kind of debt relief, debt advice, and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're struggling with debt, then I think it's a free phone number. If you kind of Google it and find it, and they have different agencies all over. So there's one for Rosendale and there's one for Burnley and there's one down in Bury, I know as well. I think one over in Blackburn. So yeah, and they are fantastic, and they do really brilliant work. And you don't have to be a Christian to access it. And the name's kind of confusing for some people, but you don't have to be. If you need help, then they're there at the end of a phone. So.
Yeah, they're quite good like that, because I knew a lad who was in a lot of debt and they managed to clear some, and he went into a payment plan and he's now paid this off. So yeah, no, it's been
really
nice to see you.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I didn't realise that.
Yeah, there's people in recovery. We could, we might have had stuff on finance just to get money to go and sell things and stuff like that. It's just a good way of clearing your debt,
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Do you know what? I've just put on the thing, the Christians Against Poverty, but I'll have a look at the link and then I'll put it onto the Red Rose page as well, because it'd be useful for people to look into. But I'll definitely I won't be getting on your roof like Brad, but I'll Brad, why were you up on the roof, Brad? What was that?
Yeah, just to check a leak that they had.
All right, okay. I just wondered why you were on roof. Like you just gone to climb on it.
No. Brad came down with some volunteers from Glen Valley to look at our garden because they were going to do some gardening.
That's right.
And then he mentioned that he was a roofer, and our property steward, property trustee, got really excited and was like, "Oh, fantastic!" And then took him up on the roof. But yes, Zoe weren't very happy with us because he sent him up on the roof. I don't think we were insured for that.
I'm in a pretty bad way as well. I'm on back end of my detox, but yeah, we're all right. It's nice to see you again. It's nice to see you.
Thank you.
Good things are happening in Bake Up. It's brilliant.
Listen, Brassic's coming out again soon in Bake Up. I love that programme. Brassic, there's absolute quality, that programme. Jeanette's just put, Bake Up would welcome me with open arms. All right, Jeanette, we'll have this conversation in private, I think. I think we'll...
Everyone should move to Bake Up. It's lovely.
Yeah.
It's always sunny as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can see it, is there? Oh, it is. It is. It's sunny in Bake Up. I'm moving to Bake Up then. That's it, definitely.
Lovely walks. There's some lovely walks.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a nice... it's a nice little community. I've always been welcome there when I've gone up, and like you say, it is a nice. The people are friendly, and it's
we've got some comments coming in at the moment for Dave. People obviously know you. Anthony Horrocks says amazing work. Paul Beckowin, I hope I pronounced that right correctly. Dave does a smashing job at backup. Steve Jenkinson says brilliant.
Good stuff.
Thank you. Where's backup? Where's backup, Stuart? Bake Up!
Oh, is it Bake Up? I've only been here for 2 years, Backup?
It's like my mum says. So I say rotten stall. She goes Rotenstall, and I'm like, no, it's Rottenstall. That's what it is.
I'm from the northeast, so everything's spelled that way.
We'll forgive you, Stuart. Dave, thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you for having me.
You don't have to stay on. You can, leave, or you can stick around. It's entirely up to you. But no, we're really grateful. Thank you, and we'll come up and see you, and we'll come and support you, and get some pictures and put it on the Red Rose site, and get you some recognition as well.
Yeah,
fantastic. Yeah, I'll stick around for a bit if that's okay.
Yeah, that's great. Good. Thank you so much. Thank you. Brad, do you want to introduce Ben? Do you want to, because we've got no music, I would sing for you all, but then we'll have no views. So I'm not going to, unfortunately, we don't have a singer tonight. So.
Yeah, so we've got Ben Allen who's going to come on and talk a little bit about what he's doing at Inspire.
Okay. Well, I've been asked to talk about naloxone.
Oh, sorry, yeah, naloxone training.
That's right.
Right.
Okay. No, don't worry about it. It's fine. I don't know what awareness there is from you guys about naloxone.
Yeah.
Are you aware of it?
Not much, no, because I can't even say it. Never mind.
You can't say it. Never mind, because you were going to come on the training, weren't you, Emily?
I'm coming on. I am coming on. I'm coming on the training. It's just that I have to get another date. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm basically condensing down a long training session into hopefully a bit of a bite-sized session for you. So essentially, what naloxone is, it's a medicine that can save a person's life by reversing an overdose of an opioid. And it does that by temporarily changing the shape of the opioid receptor in the brain so that the opioid can't bind to it. And the upshot of that is that it will reverse an opioid overdose.
Yeah.
Okay. So it works against all opioids, no matter how they've been taken. So you might have swallowed, injected, smoked, stuck it up your bum, which does happen.
Yeah.
So it works on any opioid, no matter how it's been used. It's available in two forms. So there's an injection, which is the one that has traditionally been used and supplied by Inspire, which goes into a muscle. Okay. And there's now also a nasal spray version of it too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anybody who's been trained can administer naloxone to somebody in an emergency to save their life. So a lot of overdoses happen when there's other people around. So if you've got a naloxone kit available there, it increases the chances that you can reverse that opioid overdose before it's too late. Key priority for Inspire is to increase the availability and access to naloxone across the company, across the community rather, so that whoever needs it can have it to help reduce deaths. Okay.
I've been told that when you administer it, you have to run because the addict isn't very happy when you jab and run because the addict isn't happy that you've just took them out.
Right.
Of is this?
I'll explain that briefly now. Now that you've asked, Emily. Yeah, that's very, very true. If you brought someone round from an opioid overdose using naloxone and they come to, they will probably be rattling.
Yeah.
They will be in full withdrawal from that opioid, and they are going to want to use an opioid drug again because they're in full withdrawal. So no, they're not likely to be happy that you've basically ruined their hit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as far as they were concerned, they were just having a nice nod, hadn't realised that they'd gone over. So yeah, if you inject that person with naloxone and they do come round, yeah, they're not going to be happy. The best thing you can do is just explain what you've done and why you've done it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Go on.
Yes, all I'm going to say there then, Ben, is so it can go into any muscle, can't it? They say top of the
No,
leg, but it
no.
can go.
No, my advice would be gold standard. It should go into the thigh.
Yeah, top of the thigh.
Because that's a nice big muscle that the needle's going to be able to go into.
Yeah.
And it's an accessible muscle, because if you think about it, if it's cold weather,
yeah,
it's said that you can deliver it into a shoulder, but if it's cold weather, someone might have a load of layers on.
Yeah, it can go through the layers as well, can't it? You can just put it straight through the jeans.
It will go through. It will go through trousers and jeans. Yeah, it will go directly into there. But yeah, I mean, and quite a few of our service users, there's not much to them. They can be quite skinny. So it is better to go into the thigh.
Yeah, so I was naloxone myself about 6 months ago. And through years of using, I didn't ever go over, but I'd had some time of being abstinent.
Yeah,
so I had no tolerance, and I'd used, and and I went over. And thank God.
And you were administered naloxone.
I was administered naloxone and admitted to hospital.
And how did you feel when you came through that?
So for myself, it like you said, it put me into a full-on blown rattle. I was just grateful to be alive. I have seen it administered to other people, and all they want to do is go and use again. But am I right in saying that the naloxone wears off after 20 minutes, 30 minutes?
Yes, that's absolutely true. It only temporarily reverses that overdose.
Yeah.
So after about 20 minutes, it will wear off. And the opioid is still in the system. Naloxone doesn't eradicate the opioid from the body. It's still there. Once that naloxone effect has worn off on the opioid receptor, you can absorb all the opioid again and go over again.
That's right.
So you might have to. In the injection forms, 5 doses of naloxone.
Yeah, 5 shots.
There's like lines on the syringe, and you administer 1 dose.
Yeah.
Leave it 2 or 3 minutes. If they're not then responded, give them another dose of naloxone until they come round. And it basically what it does is it buys time for the emergency services to get there and attend to that person. So when the paramedics turn up, it's important to say, explain what's happened, explain what you've done, give them the naloxone syringe so that they know, what and how much has been administered.
Yeah, saves lives, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's a key harm reduction message from Inspire is that we need naloxone as far and wide as it can be.
Yeah.
This could be something as well that, like the church, so they, like for the community, that
absolutely
it could be available, Dave. I mean, I don't know if you'd be interested, some training and have that.
Yeah. I'm just thinking that as I'm listening to Ben. Yeah, it's
because you get a kit, don't you, Ben? Is that you get once you've done the training?
Yeah, we can give kits out once we've done the training. What we do is peer-to-peer naloxone. So it's getting people involved, our volunteers trained up and ready to go out there in the community, talk to people in community venues like Dave's. Also, going outreach in the community, places where people are using opioids, like spots within the community that we need to target and make sure that there's naloxone out there for people. But it is saving lives. Like only last week, anecdotally, someone had been administered naloxone who was a service user of ours, and it saved their life. So yeah, it's really key that naloxone is out there for anybody who might need it.
So tell us about the training then. So how can we find out about the training, or like if people that are watching Red Rose now, the LUF now, and they wanted to be trained up, so what do they need to do?
I'm in the process of sending out bulletins around the courses that I'm going to be delivering. One of those is an introduction to Inspire and CGL, so that people know who we are, where we are, what we do, where we came from, and the other one at the moment is naloxone training. I'm happy for people to contact me direct. ben.allen@cgl.org.uk.
Yeah, right. Stuart, have you got that? Can you?
Read that again, please, Ben.
Yeah, ben.allen
Yeah,
at cgl.org.uk.
yeah, nice one.
Okay. Have you any more questions, Emily, around the naloxone? I'll do it as a Q&A. It's fine. You know, you just ask me whatever you need to ask me, and I'll explain it as best I can.
No, I've never even. Do you know what? I feel really like. Obviously, I'm in recovery myself, and I've been an addict, but I've never even heard of it. Didn't even know what it was. It sort of. I only know because my friend James, who is involved with Inspire, had mentioned it to me. I do know that there's quite a few people at Red Rose that have been trained. But yeah, so
yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll have a session now that COVID is starting to open up a little bit. We're looking at having a session, hopefully at Church on the Street, because they've got a big room that we could use over in Burnley. So we're looking maybe in an evening to have a peer-to-peer naloxone training session there that people can access. That's
right, and then
forward. I mean, if there's anybody out there in the wider community that they feel would benefit from us coming and doing a naloxone training course for them, that's fine. We have our harm reduction lady, Alison Starkey, who can do the sort of physical showing how people to use a kit, that kind of thing. I mean, there's a nasal naloxone as well that we can train people upon, because not everybody is comfortable carrying needles around with them or administering an injection. So the nasal naloxone is an option for those people too.
Yeah, well, like Dave, I mean, you said you've got your church. Is that might be something that might be worthwhile than the training coming up to yourselves as well?
Yeah,
happy to come to Dave's venue and
Yeah.
deliver naloxone training for you and whoever is involved in your organisation that might want it, Dave. More than happy to come and do a session for you.
Yeah. Sort that out. Well, I can be in contact with both of them. We can sort that out. In fact, Jimmy's watching now.
Oh, Jimmy there.
Jimmy, yeah, went through primary school, high school, and then college with him. It was like, really, Jimmy, really? He's stalking me. That's all it is. No, it's not. Do you know what though? Great lad. And if he hadn't been in contact with me, I wouldn't have known anything about this. So I just think it's really it's
yeah.
Like you say, and again, it's about the community. It's about getting it out there so that people are aware that there is training, that there is kits, and that it can save lives. Jimmy's just put stalky. You're a stalker, Jimmy. That's it. So.
We can basically supply it to anyone as well. So service users, carers, family members, friends. I carry naloxone, outreach workers, mental health staff. The further out there we get it, the better. Is one of the key.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's like I say, I'm definitely going to be up for the next training session. And yeah, I think we need to spread that the community, that if anybody's interested, that have you put the email on the page?
I put it in the chat, yeah.
Right, so the email's there. So now you're just going to get loads of emails now, Ben. That'll be it now.
I probably will get loads of emails, but I'm actually happy to get loads of emails.
Yeah.
I've not been in post long. I'm just starting to roll out training, and the more the better for me. The more people that come on to my sessions, the better. We're doing them online as well, so you can do them over Zoom too.
Sounds really good. Stuart,
I did the training myself, Ben, about 2 years ago. How long do the needles last?
How long do the kits, you mean? How long? There are expiry dates on them, which will be on the kit that you've got. If you need a new kit for whatever reason, just contact your local Inspire service and we'll provide you one, because things happen to the kits. Either they get used, they expire, or they, what was I gonna say? Yeah, people sometimes, you know, in desperation, open them up and use the pins to inject with or whatever, you know, but you know, we do have to take kind of like the name of the person or initials of the person who's delivered the naloxone kit, just so we can track it and so we know how many kits we've given out, who we've given them to.
Yeah.
But it will be revisited with the client, you know, and you don't have to be in service with us. You know, we have clients who aren't in service with Inspire who attend our needle exchange. And again, you know, we're happy to provide them with naloxone kits too.
Brilliant.
Oh,
Cheers.
brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah. Is there any more comments, Stuart?
Lizzie says it's a great idea to train individuals to use the kit. It's been available for years. It's good to hear that progress is being made. Stephen Jenkinson says, thanks, great advice for that, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy says it's 2 years they last.
Okay.
Yeah. Cheers, Jimmy.
Mine's due for replacement then, I think. I'll have to get one myself.
Mine will be as well.
Yeah.
Like I say, though, like you say, it's saving lives. It saves lives. Oh, you get a hoodie. Oh my God, you get a hoodie if you do the training.
Yes, you do. You get a hoodie.
Yes!
You also will get a backpack that has naloxone on. We have, you know, our volunteers, like I say, will you know, go out into the community. You know, people will ask them what that's about, and they can end up with a kit. You know, it's spreading the word. You know, it also, you know, the naloxone trainers are a route for people into service with Inspire as well. You know, it raises awareness of our service too. So
it might be street cred. I don't know, because I've got a few friends that are addicts. I might get jumped if I walk around one of them hoodies. They'd be like, "Well, you train?" They might like start jumping there, thinking I'm going to ruin their evenings for them, but I could be saving their lives.
Well, exactly. I think you're only going to ruin their evening for a period of about 20 minutes anyway. So,
no, on a serious note, where I live, there was a few people that struggle in addiction quite badly, and you know, the paramedics are out quite regularly to people. You know, the same thing that when they've overdosed, and it's tragic. It's very sad, very, very sad. You know, and not everybody gets it. Not everybody, you know, gets a recovery. Not everybody's lucky and blessed to have that chance. So I do think it is handy. It is helpful, and if we can support each other, then that's a great thing. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be on the training.
I look forward to it, Emily.
Yeah. I'm really quiet. I'll be really shy and everything.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to put a face to the name as well, Emily.
Yes. Oh no, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you. Really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll get some awareness and get some training out there in the community. And
sure.
I'll do it again as well, because I didn't get a hoodie or a backpack.
You didn't get a hoodie or a backpack? That'll never do.
Or a bake pack.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy for anyone to get in touch with me. That's brilliant. I'll liaise with you, Emily, around maybe providing some training going forward for whoever might need it.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's brilliant. Brad, have you done your training? Have you been on it?
I did training about 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, but there's no harm in getting it refreshed and doing an up-to-date one, is there? We did it like a first aid course at Inspire at Westgate in Burnley, and we did like a CPR training as well.
That's another part of that. If the person has stopped breathing, or the breathing is very shallow and laboured, you know, administering some CPR is another part of responding to, it's responding to that opioid overdose, and also, being aware of the signs of when someone's gone over, so you can recognize it. Because, and another key message is that it won't do any harm. It's not going to harm anybody. If people go over on benzos, they can lose consciousness through alcohol. But administering the naloxone is not going to do them any harm whatsoever.
No. No.
So you can use that for if someone's OD'd on benzos?
It doesn't work on benzos. It
Oh,
doesn't
right,
work
sorry.
on alcohol. It only works on opioids.
Right, okay.
So
Right,
somebody, you know, you're not going to know every time that someone's gone over on an opioid for definite.
Yes, a good sign is they call it a death rattle.
Yeah, if they're snoring very deeply and
The way they
very
breathe.
rattly kind of sound coming out as they're trying to breathe.
Yeah,
Is another sort of key sign that someone's gone over.
yeah,
Obviously, the other thing, you know, that if they're unconscious and unresponsive, you know, they won't respond to shake and shout, that kind of thing. You know, if their lips are going blue, the end of their nose is going blue, you know, it's just being aware of those you know, signs that somebody might have gone over.
yeah.
Oh, it's tragic, isn't it?
It is, and you know, the paramedics aren't gonna contact the police or anything. They're just there to
No, yeah.
you know, to save that person's life as well.
Yeah, because some people are scared about that, aren't they? About, you know, calling the ambulances because they think they're going to get arrested and things like that. And it's not like that, is it?
No.
So it's good that people know that. I think it's quite vital that they know that they're not going to get into trouble. They're not going to get arrested.
Yeah.
You know, all they're doing is saving somebody's life.
Definitely.
It's a good point, that, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Jeanette's put, can it harm anyone if you administer it for the wrong reason? So is that what you've just said? It can't actually harm anybody?
It won't do any serious long-term harm. There are some side effects to it. I don't know them all off by heart, but they're pretty minor, really. You know, compared, you know, saving someone's life, you know, more a priority of maybe giving them a headache or whatever like that, you know. So.
Yeah. Oh, no, thank you very much. No, I think I'm done. If I can, is there any more comments? I'm just looking myself. Hello to Nadia
specifically on this, not specifically on this topic. I can read out a couple in general, though, if you like.
It's up to you. We've got Nadia Butler's watching as well. Hello, Nadia, sweetheart. Nadia's a local girl.
We've got two names I personally don't recognise: Sam Lafat and Dee McChrystal.
Welcome.
So, hi, if this is your first time. Bev said to Dan, "I miss you and your corks," and I presume she means calls.
Yeah.
And just so, oh yeah, Dan Littledale said, "Can we have a shout out to community-led initiatives?" And just on a bit of a passing note, everybody, I hope, is giving Emily plaudits because she's been on holiday and this is the first day she's back, straight into the LUF. That's commitment for you.
That is commitment. That is. We have got another question. Can someone have an allergic reaction?
Not that I'm aware of.
Right.
Can't guarantee that someone would have an allergic reaction to it, but it's unlikely.
Okay. Well, thank you. Like you say, it's bringing awareness. It's bringing awareness to people, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Ben, and hopefully we can all. I don't think there's any more questions. I don't think so. Is there anything else you want to tell us? Anything? Because I did get the poster that you sent me, so I have put it onto the staff website webpage, so we can share that. Then, if you want me to share that onto the Red Rose page, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, go for it.
I only opened my emails when I got back, so I do apologise, but I've sent it onto the staff link, and then we can share it.
Fantastic. Brilliant.
Yeah,
really.
No. Thank you. You can stay around if you want. I'm
gonna dash. My missus is back from work.
So, that's it then.
So yeah, I need to go and attend to my lady.
You do that.
But thanks for inviting me. I found it a little bit nerve-wracking. I've never done anything like this before.
You did fantastic. Thank you.
Did I do okay?
You did very well. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm gonna dash, but thanks very much, and I'll be in touch, Emily. Okay.
All right then. Take care. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you. Speaking about community, I just want to speak. I was talking before we went live about bringing awareness to the community about something that's really close to my heart. Is a young girl, 15, one of my friend's daughter, attempted to take her own life in Haslingden last week. Young girl called Strawberry. 15, being bullied. This is the third time that a teenager has actually done this. Same motorway bridge, same school where the bullying's taking place. And unfortunately, one of the first young girl that attempted to take her life, she was found dead at the scene. A young lad then attempted and survived with quite horrific injuries, and my friend's daughter has done the same and has survived. She's in Manchester Children's Hospital, and I just want to send a lot of love to Gemma Taylor's daughter, Strawberry. Gemma is involved with Red Rose Recovery as well, but it doesn't make any difference if she wasn't. And what I did was, Gemma's self-employed, so she's at her daughter's bedside, so isn't able to work. So I set up a GoFundMe page, which is on my page, and we're up to, I think we're at £700 already in 24 hours that has been raised for this family. The girl was in intensive care. I think she's out of intensive care, but she's still very, very poorly. She's got some horrific injuries, and it just shows that mental health is affecting so many young people that there needs to be more awareness. There needs to be actively things being done in schools, in the community. We've decided, well, I'm going to bring some volunteers, and if anybody who's on today who wants to volunteer, we're going to go to the bridge and put some ribbons and some flowers, and Unlock Your You, which is the local mental health team, are going to put their phone number, the crisis phone number, laminate them and put them onto the motorway bridge, and it's just to try and raise awareness. You know, so if anyone's got any ideas or, you know, anything that they can think of, or they want to, I'm going to have a meeting with Lisa this coming week to organise a day where we can go up and we'll get some photographs and try and promote this. And I just want to send some love really to Strawberry and to Gemma, and to let her know that the community that we're all rooting for, and we just hope that she makes a full recovery. I just wanted it, and tonight is about community, and that is, I don't know if Stuart and Brad want to say anything, or
I'm there, Emily.
yeah.
I'll come.
Oh, thank you, thank
No
you.
problem at all. I had a cousin myself who committed suicide about 20 years. It wasn't through bullying, but I think all of us who've been through illness, through addiction and mental health problems have been to that point where you think there's, you know, no place to go from there. And places like this prove that there are. So
Exactly.
any help I can give,
I think it's brilliant what you're doing. You know, I've been suicidal myself. You know, I used to, not that I used to have any intentions on doing it, but the thoughts were there. You know, I didn't want to be here. I couldn't cope, and you know, using against my own will. I just mentally, you know, there's someone who I used to connect to, who knows about all this, and I used to have these thoughts on a daily basis, you know. So I just want to say, reach out, don't keep it to yourself, you know, find someone you can connect with. You know, there's people there's engagement officers in Red Rose Recovery who are always, will be there to, you know, for someone to listen to. If my phone's always on, if anybody needed to chew someone's ear off for half an hour or however how long it'd be, you know, just connect, go and see someone. But yeah, I think it's great what you're doing, Emily. I've not seen it because I've come off Facebook.
Yeah, it's like you say, we set up the GoFundMe page, but that's the least we can do. It just shows, though, again, community people pulling together. You know, we've had 2 anonymous donations of £100, you know, and that's just shows, doesn't it? People don't want recognition for it, like, oh, I've just given that, you know, anonymously, but just kind-hearted people who know that, you know, Gemma is now going to be at her daughter's bedside for a long length of time. You know, this is, you know, she's got a broken spine, a broken pelvis. This is going to be a huge long road, you know, for the family, and she's juggling, you know, her son who's at home, and he's having to stay between families, and it's just horrific. It's horrific what people go through. And I think it highlights as well what social media, sometimes the danger. Social media is great when you want to spread awareness for different things, but it's also pretty dangerous when it's targeting people and bullying youngsters, and you know, it's cruel. It really is cruel. You know, and I just think people need to know that there is hope, and there is
a way out, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's a way.
Yeah. You know, it's yeah. So I just wanted to send Gemma love and Strawberry, and get well soon, Strawberry, and we're all here for you, and you know, we're all there for Gemma as well. So I just wanted to sort of highlight that, really. So
Yeah, good stuff. So am I right in saying that you're doing a live story for us tonight?
well, yeah, well, I wasn't supposed to be. I did have somebody doing the live story, so but I haven't. I think the last time I did mine was nearly a year ago on here, and I asked to come on here before I got a job with Red Rose to do my live story. So I'm gonna do it again. So yeah, here we go.
Get the show on the road. Brilliant.
Get the show on the road. Right. So I was born in 1975, September. I was born in Haslingden, on a road called Grain Road. They used to call it Virgin's Road. It was like 4 little cottages, and I was born in one of the cottages. My life from being, you know, a baby to being 10 was fine. You know, I was a normal, happy little girl. Used to play out in the forest and in the woods. I was quite feral, you know. I'd be out there like digging up sheep's heads and always nice, attractive things like that, eating worms. I was, you know, one of these feral little kids that just wandered around, but I was happy. I was a happy little person, and that was it. And my grandparents on my dad's side lived in Blackpool, so I used to love going to Blackpool for my holidays, like any kid does. And my granddad was my hero. So, you know, I've never met anybody like my granddad since, and I put him on this pedestal, and he was my hero. My grandma was a little bit more, she was quite strict and quite firm and a bit bolshy. So my granddad was the person who I followed around everywhere, and he was like, I just adored him. And when I was 10, my grandparents had a holiday flat, and they retired, and they opened the flat up to an old friend of theirs, a lady and her son. And the lady and her son used to spend time downstairs with my grandparents, and I'd like go into the bedroom to watch my television. And it sounds really crazy, but I can't watch James Bond films, because I was watching Dr. No, James Bond film, and this man he came into the room and decided he was going to come and lie down and watch TV with me, started sexually abusing me. I didn't have a clue what was going on. Didn't speak about it. You know, if I looked at him, he'd be like, shh, you know, it's okay. And I knew it wasn't okay, but I froze. I couldn't speak. It was like I was a mute. I just couldn't say anything, and I just remember letting it happen. And the following week I was there, and I became really quiet and went really within myself, and like just would sit near my granddad so that this man wouldn't be near me. But my granddad worked as well. So when he was out, this man had said to me he wanted to take me for a walk, and he had a surprise. He had something to show me. He wanted to surprise me. And I went along, and I was like, what is it? And took me down to the seafront, and he flashed at me. And I ran all the way back to my grandma's. My grandma was on the bed reading a book, and I went in and I told her what he'd done, and she just said to me, right, you stop this now. You must never say anything like that again. You must never repeat this. It ends here. If you tell your granddad, it'll kill him. And that was it. That was it. It was like, right, I don't ever speak about it, because my granddad was my hero, and it was like, and nothing was done. No, we didn't speak about it, but the abuse became more and more, and it got worse and worse when he eventually raped me when I was 12, and I never told anybody, because my granddad said it had killed my granddad, so I didn't. So I carried this for a long time. Sort of went within myself and rebelled a little bit. I was probably hard work for my parents. I went to my cousin's wedding and I'd cut all my hair off because I had long hair like this, and I cut it all off thinking, right, well, if I look like a boy, I won't get raped. It'll stop. And it didn't stop. But my mum was really angry with me because I'd cut all my hair off, so I didn't look very feminine for the wedding photographs, and I was a bridesmaid. And all those pictures, I was like frowning, and we were at the top table and I got given my first taste of alcohol. So the top table, I was given champagne. Now, I was 12 and I was absolutely wrecked out of my head. So I was laid on the floor, my bridesmaid dress, my knickers in the air. I was absolutely out of it. I was like, just thought it was absolutely brilliant, and it got rid of all the pain. I didn't think about anything. I didn't think about all these demons, all these things that were going on. So it was magical. I was like, oh, fuck, this is ace. Absolutely brilliant. So that was then the journey of me and alcohol. And I'd go to house parties. I'd always be the one who'd mix all my drinks and make all these concoctions, and I'd be sat me on urine. I'd be sick all over myself. I'd be getting off with lads. I'd be having sex. And because then, for me, sex was nothing. It meant nothing, because that had been taken, all that niceness. And when people say, you know, it's a special moment, it had gone. So to me, I was just abusing myself. So to have sex, I would have sex with everybody and anybody. I didn't care, because I didn't want to feel it, and I'd have to be absolutely comatose, blind drunk or on drugs to have sex. It didn't make any difference to me. There was no feelings whatsoever. And this went on for quite a long time. I started doing aerosol gases at parties, taking aerosol cans with me and some towels, and, you know, people would be drinking and I'd be sniffing the gas, and I smoked cannabis. I was just out there. I was just this crazy teenager that was just wild. At 16, I met a bloke who was 26 years old. So I was still at school. Well, I was just leaving school. And I met this man and I thought, oh yeah, brilliant. You know, I know what I'm doing now. I'll leave home. And he beat the living daylights out of me for 18 months. He was on steroids, and he'd just get me absolutely drunk as anything. Absolutely. Honestly, I was a mess. And then he'd beat me. He'd urinate all over me. He just was he broke my nose. He battered me that many times. I went to college. He wouldn't let me go to college on my own. I had to dress in like tracksuits, no makeup, and I just looked scruffy, really. And he'd drop me off at college, and then he'd pick me up, and he'd make me get up at 5:30 in the morning to go down to the factory where he worked, to sit with him till I went to college, and then he'd lock me in the house while he went to the gym. And I'd just sit at the window. We didn't have the telephone, mobile phones. And, you know, I was isolated, and I was lonely, and I was drinking, and I was letting him beat me every day. And I learned to curl up in a ball and let the beatings carry on. I learned to go down the stairs on my bottom, so that because he'd kick me from top to bottom. So I'd learned to go down on my bottom to shuffle down. And it was just coping mechanisms. And this went on for a long time. And I plucked up the courage to leave him. And I left him, and I went back to my mum and dad's, and he tried to like get me to go back, and, you know, I'm sorry, I won't do it again. And he did do it again. I went back and he did it again. So I left, and this time I left for good. But I was that damaged. I would go out and drink, and I'd get so drunk I'd end up fighting. And because I'd been beaten by this man who was like 3 times the size of me, steroids, big muscly bloke, it was nothing for me to go out and fight with women, mate. It didn't bother me. And it was like I enjoyed the pain. So I'd drink and I'd fight and I'd get arrested. And it was just like, I didn't care. And I was 18 and I met this man who became my husband, and he was really kind. He was lovely. I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle somebody being kind and loving and not violent and not calling me a slag and a prostitute and a fat cow. And I couldn't handle it, you know, and I just didn't believe that this person loved me like he did. And he did. And I married him, and I moved down to Portsmouth to be an army wife. But again, my husband was quite quiet. And I was just out there loud, drinking, fighting. You know, I didn't change my ways at all. I was hard work. And I became pregnant with my first child. And obviously then the drinking sort of was contained. You know, I wasn't going out on these crazy nights. I sort of looked after myself and was well behaved, really. And I had my first child, Holly. She was born in 1996. She's beautiful. And at 6 months old, she got diagnosed with something called severe combined immune deficiency. She had no immune system. She was born with no immune system. And after a trip to intensive care Guy's Hospital, where she had pneumonia, they found out that the type of pneumonia she had was only with people with immune deficiencies. So we went down all the different tests of like the AIDS, HIV, cancers, and it was found that she had this immune deficiency that was genetic. She was born with it, and we had more chance of winning the lottery than it happening to our child, which was about as much luck for me. So my daughter ended up in Great Ormond Street waiting for a transplant, and my world just crumbled, really. So I'd still drink when I was at Great Ormond Street. I'd sit out with the other parents. I met children with such horrific conditions. My life was then contained. I lived in a bubble. I lived in isolation for a year with my daughter. So I was again isolated. It was yet again, I was back to being isolated. My brother used to come and see me, and he'd stand at the window pick the phone up and speak to me through the phone, through the window. And that was my life for 12 months, watching my daughter go through all the treatments that she needed, the chemotherapy, the bone marrow transplant. And it was tough, you know, and me and my husband, we stayed together through this, but it was tough. It was tough. And this was our journey. We were on the news, we were on Granada Reports, we were in the newspapers, you know, trying to provide awareness for getting bone marrow donors. And in 1998, my daughter died at Alderhay after a horrific hemorrhage. And I watched my daughter, and I didn't think anyone could bleed from every orifice, but I watched my daughter, and it was the most horrific experience I have ever had to go through. No parent should ever have to witness what I did, and I did. And I held my daughter and I gave her a big kiss and a cuddle, and I crumbled. I think I was about 23, 24 years old. And it was like, what do I do now? What do I do? I don't know how to live. I don't know how to do anything. And I didn't live very well. I drank heavily. I got in trouble for fighting. I pushed my husband away. And then I became pregnant with my son. And me and my husband, I had my son. We were told that it could be genetic again. I went through it. I was like, no, I'm not risking. I'm having this child. This is a sign. This is God telling me that this is my sign. You know, I've been a parent. This is it. And I refused any testing. My son had a bone marrow donor ready, waiting for when he was born, for if, you know, this was needed. He was tested at birth. He was born at Manchester, St Mary's in Manchester, the big genetic testing place, and thank God he was clear, but I couldn't cope. So even all this, you know, my head was just like, something's going to happen, something bad's going to happen. And my drinking just took a really big dive, and my depression, I struggled with depression, anxiety, and my marriage broke down. Still speak to my husband, my ex-husband to this day, you know, still have a good friendship with him. He's a good man, you know. And I left the house, and I brought my son George up on my own as a single mum. Did obviously he saw his dad. But again, you know, I didn't really want to leave the marriage. I did, you know, this was one man that actually showed me love, and I just couldn't cope with it. I didn't know how to love him back. I didn't know what to do. And I just thought it would be the best thing to let him move on with his life, which he did. And then I was on my own with my son for a few years, and the drinking, I was sniffing cocaine. I'd been introduced to cocaine, and I thought, this is fucking brilliant, excuse my French. This is ultimate, this. So drinking cocaine, I thought, I can drink and then I can do coke all night and it'll sober me up. It'd be brilliant. Job's a good one. And I'd spend a fortune, absolute fortune. So I did this for a while, and then I met another man. So again, I was having these relationships with men where I was just having sex randomly, didn't care. I was like prostituting myself. I'd go to hotel rooms, meet men that I didn't know. They'd buy me, they'd pay for the room, they'd buy me alcohol. I'd have sex and it'd be like, nice one. Probably didn't even know half of the names, didn't know. Honestly, the situations I've put myself in, been wandering around the streets of Manchester on my own, getting taxi drivers to go and find me someone to buy cocaine. It was just a mess. My life was a mess. And luckily I had my parents to sort of help me with my son. You know, they were providing for me, making sure that he was fed and looked after while I was just out causing chaos. I had a relationship with a man and fell pregnant with my daughter, Rosie. Had my daughter, and he again was another violent person who beat me regularly. He'd go out and sleep with prostitutes. He'd cheat on me. He was just, again, I'd gone straight into another toxic relationship, and the drinking again was just, it was just constant. Just, I drank to numb the pain of everything. And then I split up with this man, and I found out that he was sexually abusing my daughter. So I actually then got a suspended jail sentence because I beat him, and I beat him really badly. And I ended up, the police said that I'd gone from persecutor to perpetrator. I took self-defense into my own hands. This man had beaten me and sexually abused my daughter, and I thought that I was like, well, this is what you should do. What the police won't do anything, so I'll do it. And I ended up with a anger management program, suspended prison sentence, 18 months probation. The Star Project were there supporting me because they said it's domestic abuse, and I just couldn't see it. I was like, no, I battered him. They've seen the pictures, the police have seen the photographs, they've shown me the photograph. I've done it, and I had, but they were saying, well, you need to sort of fight this because you have been put through years of this, of domestic abuse and violence. But I didn't. I pleaded guilty. And I think from there, Inspire and the Alcohol Dependency Service became involved, and a little glimmer of hope. There was like a little bit of like, right, there is people, there is support. I do have a massive problem here with drink. I have a massive problem with my anger. There's a lot of stuff here I need to deal with. And I sort of did start getting help and getting some counselling and piecing bits together. And I met my second husband, who I married, who I thought was there to I thought, yeah, this is it. I've got my forever family. And he turned out to be everything that I just didn't want him to be. I had 2 children with him. I've got 2 sons with him. He was extremely narcissistic. I know all about red flags now. I'm completely aware. I've had to have lots and lots of therapy. It's quite embarrassing that I have to know about narcissistic behaviour, but yeah, I could write a book on it now. And he was very, very controlling, very, very toxic, very jealous, and would just constantly call me names, put me down, accuse me of things that I hadn't done. I was the most faithful wife ever. I was sober. I'd managed to be sober. I'd done 7 years sobriety in this marriage, but it was very controlling. So I'd done it without really getting any sort of outside support. I sort of came away from Inspiring. I just sort of shut myself away and got sober and clean, and thought this is the right thing to do. Didn't speak to anybody, didn't have social media. If I had friends, he'd say that they were slags, or they were this, they were that, or if I spoke to a man, I was sleeping with them, and it was just constant. And I felt like a bad person because I know that in my past I'd done things, and I thought, perhaps this is real, then perhaps I am a nasty person, perhaps it is right. And so I just allowed it to happen. He threatened to slice my throat. He threatened to burn me. He told me to dig my daughter up. And I stayed with this man. And then 3 years ago, I found that he was actually abusing crack cocaine, and I threw him out. And I went through hell because I was then told by him that because I was in recovery, you think you know it all, don't you? You think you're this now, don't you? You're like, nobody took your kids off you. Nobody did this to you. And I felt like, am I like looking down on him? Is this me again, doubting myself? But I had to. He had to move him. I had to go out of my house because my children couldn't be around that. I know what I'd put my children through in my drinking, the safeguarding, and I thought, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to allow another person to do this to these children. I can't do this. And but it was hard because he was like, you know, oh, you had the help and the support. So I tried to support him, but I couldn't do it. He was very, very toxic, very manipulative. I became really codependent. I became more obsessed with his addiction than my own, and my recovery just faltered, and I relapsed. So after 7 years thinking I'd smashed it, I relapsed, and I relapsed quite badly. And again, you know, it went on for about 18 months where I was drinking, getting myself in trouble, thinking I'd got it contained and I was all right, but I wasn't, and ended up again sat in my own urine. Just a mess. So I came back to Red Rose because I'd already been involved with Red Rose about 10 years previous, just a little bit, like I just dipped into it slightly, and I liked what it was about. So I ended up coming back on and thinking, right, you know what, I've got nothing to lose. I'm going to go on to a Zoom meeting. The COVID had just sort of kicked off, and thought, right, I don't need to go anywhere. I can, you know, just go to these meetings on Zoom, and I've not looked back. And I went on to my first Zoom meeting, and I was, as you probably won't believe this, but I was quite quiet and quite shy, and like, but I loved it, and I loved what the people were about. And I've not looked back, and I was asked to do my life story, and I came on here and did my life story, and then I was asked to, you know, do speaker boot camp, and I was like, these people actually like me and believe in me. And I think what it is I'm just so honest. I am honest. I can be fiery. I can be, you know, I speak out. I've got a lot of passion. I've got a lot of love for people. And I like to, you know, I have been a pain in the backside, and I have done bad things. You know, I have hurt people. But I found my life really confusing. And in February this year, you know, so I came to Red Rose. I got a little job with them in January, and then in February this year, I was then made aware that my dad, who'd brought me up all my life, who passed away sadly 5 years ago, wasn't actually my biological father. So I was then contacted by a man who decided to tell me that he thought he was my biological dad. So that really turned my world upside down. I've got a lot of things going on at the moment. There's a lot of questions. I did meet up with this man, and it wasn't very nice. I didn't like what he was about. I didn't like what he had to say about anything. He was someone of these people that doesn't respect women, and obviously, you know, that upset me. And I've not heard from him since. And I think there's a feeling of rejection again by him, because he came into my world at 45 years old to tell me that he's my dad. He lives locally. I've got sisters I didn't know about. And then he's just gone, and it's like, wow, rejection again. So I have this massive thing around men and rejection. And but the beautiful thing about Red Roses is, well, I've got myself clean and sober. I have got relationships with men. I've got friendships that are genuine. And I at the beginning, I used to doubt and think, do they think I'm after anything, or do they think I'm a slapper, or do they? And I'd like ring up and like, do you think I'm I really think I'm a slag? They're like, no, not at all. Bad, so I don't like come across as one. No. And I had to have all this. Now I know that I'm a good person. I know that I'm in a good place. I know that I'm recovering, and I'll always be in recovery. But I know that I'm genuine. I don't need to lie. You know, I am me, and that's the end of it. And I don't have to make all these excuses for myself. I had a past. I've done what I've done. But here and now, I'm in a better place, and I can truly say that the family on Red Rose, honestly, it is a full family. I have never had so much support from people, and love, unconditional love. You can go back out there, and if you relapse and you come back, no one's going to say a single thing to you. They're just going to open their arms up and love you. And this is what I absolutely love about this place. And I do believe that I owe my life to Red Rose. I really do, you know, and I'm still working on my recovery. I work hard. I get the support that I need to. And I just love it. And I just think, you know, for the grace of God, I'm here. And I do believe in higher powers. And I believe that my daughter, Holly, is my higher power. And I think that, you know, she's looking down on me. And, you know, I say my serenity prayer every single night when I go to bed. And I do believe that there is, you know, something out there definitely that is looking after us. And I know it's sad when you see that obviously horrific things that go on in the world. But I have to hold on to the fact of my faith. I have to believe that there's definitely something, you know, that keeps us all going. So I hope I've not waffled on because I think that was probably like really long. So I do apologise. But that's me.
No, you've not waffled on at all, Emily. You know, it was
I don't
so,
know. I mean, it went on for quite a while, but
no, it was so real, so raw, you know, but honest as well. You're quite emotional as well, if I'm being honest. Quite emotional sat here listening to it. I think I've listened to a little bit before. You're like, wow, you know, but you're doing good stuff today, and your lived experience, what you've been through, you're passing on to other people. You know, so you're helping other people, aren't you?
yeah.
You're doing amazing. You really are. Really
Okay.
grounded me. Really grounded me.
How's it?
Is there any comments, Stuart?
Yeah, there's lots, and it doesn't surprise me. I've heard Emily's story before, and you know, I said before, and I'll say it again. I'm proud to consider Emily a friend, and
Yeah.
coming to Red Rose really has linked me up with so many incredible, inspirational people. So we've got Stephen Jenkinson, what an amazing lady. Brad Nelson, he can relate to a lot of what you said. So brave, sends love out. We've got thank you very much for the honesty. God bless you. You're inspirational. You're so brave.
Yeah.
And Dan says, I love you, Rookie.
Oh, I love Dan. I know we missed it. He rang me up on holiday. He rang me and I went, right, so he rang me and I didn't answer. And then he went, that's rude. And I said, I'm on holiday. He went, and? I was like, oh, so then I spoke to him and I was like, so I love you, Dan. I love everybody. Honestly, they're all amazing people. Like I say, I've got a proper little family that
You are inspiring people. You know, one of the people who sent quite a few messages says, I haven't gone through half of the stuff you have, and I'm struggling. I'm really sad today that this was his last pre-detox group before going into rehab. But he says, thanks so much sharing. You're amazing.
oh,
You
who's
do.
that? Do we know?
You continue to inspire people.
Do we know who that was?
Yes, it's a fellow called Bradley Nelson.
Oh, much love, Brad. So Bradley's going into rehab.
Yeah, he's just finished doing a pre-detox course. Then he's going into detox and rehab straight after.
Oh,
So,
good luck,
yeah,
Bradley. Good luck, mate. Oh, bless
yeah.
him. Yeah.
I did
Oh,
that myself, mate. So stick with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I don't know what else to say. I think I've Dave, do you want to say anything?
Well, yeah, listening to your story, I mean, other people have said it was so brave and so honest, and
Yeah.
like just yeah, and I was just amazed. It was kind of almost like each little bit of the story, there's so much stuff that you've gone through, like, which would have broken so many people, and then it was like, I don't know, that happens, and then something else happens, and it's like you've had kind of 10 people's worth of brokenness kind of happen, and you, the one thing that I just wanted to say to you, because you said a few times, like, you know, I've done bad things, but you know, you've had stuff done to you, and you've had things happen to you, that should never ever have been done, or should never ever have happened to you. And there's loads I could say, but do you know what? The last thing I just want to say is, if I could boil literally the kind of the good news of God's and Jesus down into one sentence, I had a friend who years ago told me this, and I cling on to it, and I say it all the time, and I want to say it to you, that there is nothing you can do that will make God love you anymore, and there is nothing you can do that could make God love you any less. And like, if you literally ever remember anything at all that anyone says to you, just hold on to that, because like, there is literally nothing you can do that will make God love you anymore, but there's nothing you can do that will make God love you any less. He just loves you because he loves you, because he loves you, because he loves you. And just hold on to that. When you feel rejected, when you feel broken, when just the world's raining down on you, just know that God looks at you and just loves you, no matter what. no
Yeah.
matter what.
Oh, that's beautiful. No, thank you. Yeah, it's true, isn't it? It is. Oh,
And Sarah says Emily is a powerhouse of a woman, which is
well,
absolutely true.
it's crazy though, isn't it? It's like, I remember like coming to Red Rose, so I had my criminal record and all that, you know, and I'd lost jobs and things. And I remember I worked at Alder Grange and I was there for quite a while, and the headmaster like pulled me in the office, and I was like, I worked with kids with behavioural problems, but the headmaster said, you've got more behavioural problems than these kids, but they loved me. And he said, we love you. You work so hard with these children. The children love you. I had children come to me as adults and say, if it wasn't for you, miss, we wouldn't have been at school. And it was so lovely. And I was so damaged and broken, and I was still trying to like do this job. But I had to leave because I was in the papers all the bloody time for fighting, and it was a bit embarrassing, you know what I mean? I'm there like trying to set an example to the school, and the headmaster was like, I just don't know what to do with you. I don't know whether to lock you in a cupboard or put you over my knee. And I was like, oh, whatever. And he was like, you're like Jekyll and Hyde, you know. When I was in the building working, I was great. I was professional. Get me out there at a weekend, put me alcohol and drugs, and that was it. It was wild. And when I came to Red Rose, and Pete Yoder said to me, have you got a criminal record? And I was like, oh, I went, yeah, brilliant. You can go on the Lex leadership. And I thought, I was that brilliant, you know. And it was like, but because, you know, it's part of my life, and it's the fact that I've got a story and I've got a past, and that can be used. And it was like, that was my qualification, the fact that I had this life, you know, that had been around the criminal justice system, and I could use that and I could help other people. And I was like, that's amazing, because usually when people, you know, when you've been in the system, people will be like, oh. And I was like, wow, I'm employable. People actually are interested. And my only lived experience was the fact that I have been in addiction and I'm in recovery, and I will always be that person. And I've got this lived experience, and it's like, that's amazing. Like we all have now, you know what I mean? And to think that that's valued, and that people value me and respect me and want me to be part of, you know, Red Rose, was like amazing. And I think that was my first sort of taste of feeling loved, feeling accepted, and feeling like important. And so I take that with me, you know, and I think a lot of us do. I think it is important that I'm learning to now love myself, because I haven't for a long time. And you know, having that time with my children, having that lovely relationship with my children is brilliant, you know. And I love it. So yeah,
Can I
thank
just,
you.
while you're speaking there, Emily, can I just, it was Brad Nelson. I could answer this question, but I'll let you. He says, what's your relationship with your daughter like now?
My daughter is 16, so Rosie, brilliant, beautiful. My relationship with all my children is fantastic. I've had to just fight, you know, a court case. I've got full custody of my youngest boys, because of the father still being active in addiction. And my relationship with my kids is amazing. My eldest son, who's 22, you know, he struggles with his own addiction, but I'm there for him, and I can be there for him because I'm in recovery now. You know, and it's quite sad to see sort of the history that, you know, that he's struggling with the mental health and things, but I'm there for him, and I can be there for him, and I won't give up on him. And my daughter, yeah, so proud of her. She's going to college soon. She's doing amazing. She's such a level-headed young woman. Very different, my children, you know, like you say, and they both experienced, my two eldest both experienced mum in the frantic mayhem, the toxic relationships and this and that. But, you know, my daughter's very level-headed, very sensible, very matter of fact, and my son's a bit crazy out there, and I love him, you know, and they're both very different, but it is what it is. My two youngest boys haven't really seen much of, because mum was sober for quite a long time, you know. But yeah, I have a really lovely relationship with my children. It's a very happy home. It's a safe home, and I've had to do a lot of work with domestic violence people and domestic abuse, and my house now is safe. You know, I had a lot of I've had Mareks heard, you know, because my life was at threat. You know, and I don't think my ex-partner realised how much it impacted on me. You know, you'd think it was quite amusing, you know, you're playing a victim to people, but nobody goes to a Marek hearing and nobody sits in domestic abuse and violent relationship counselling for the sheer fun of it. You know, it's not exactly pleasurable. So I've had to learn that that was just his way of the control. But I am now in a really happy place. I have lots of stresses that go in my life, you know, like everybody does, but I feel at ease with myself now and my relationship, because I'm in recovery and I'm clean, and my children can actively see that mum's working hard. It's created a nice relationship with them. So I am lucky. I'm very lucky, and I'm lucky that I watch other people in the service get their relationship back with their children when they put the hard work into it. It is beautiful, and I absolutely love it when they say, you know, I've got contact with my kids, or my kids are coming back to me, I've been taken off the order, and I absolutely love it, because I just think, there you go, it can be done. And it is tough recovery, because you don't want to sit in that pain, and you don't want to sit and open all those wounds up without drugs and alcohol. It's very painful, but I tell you what, it makes you an absolute warrior to do that. Absolute warrior, you know, because that shit it's hard work, but you know, I'm just blessed to see people recover and get well. I really am.
I've got another friend who I've said before, I think is sort of very similar to you, and she's very inspiring. And I think maybe one thing to say, you know, certainly one of the things she's helped me think about is how to be patient, not want, you know, anything straight away. And she's got her relationship back with her child, and it's just as amazing as yours with your children. So yeah, I think you're a prime example of how being patient, you know, will help.
Yeah.
Also got Sarah Elizabeth Davis says, I'm so proud of how far Emily has come through the Healthy Relationships programme.
Yeah, I've had to do it twice. Because I still couldn't, but I was like, I don't know what a healthy relationship is. Honestly, she asked me, like, what do you think? And like, you know, like simple things like, what do you want for a relationship? I was like, loyalty, love, respect. And she went, and how do you think you get them? I'm like, magic wand. She was like, no, they're all normal. I was like, really? What, you actually can get that? That's actual not very damaged. But do you know what? I went back and I've done it again. And I think yeah, I think I'm getting there. I think I'm sort of understanding what a healthy relationship is. You know, I'm getting there. It's fine.
It'll chip away, isn't it? I'm the same. The more you do, hopefully, the more it'll chip away at those little walls.
Definitely. Oh wow! Listen, have we? Oh, we're not too bad, are we? I'm going to say, I thought I'd talk to everybody today. Is there anybody else that wants to say anything? Before we bring this all to an end, because obviously we've missed the music, and usually we'd have a bit of a sing-song, unless we all want to start singing. We could sing Kumbaya. I used to sing that at school. Do they still do that? Kumbaya, my lord. Do not sing that anymore. No?
No, but I remember singing that myself.
You see?
Kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya.
Someone's crying, Lord, kumbaya. Oh, Lord, kumbaya. Everybody wave your hands now in the house. Come on. Right, no, I'll stop. I'm sorry. Oh, Bradley's put, would it be okay if I spoke to you guys? Yes, Bradley. Bradley, tell you what, drop me a message on here, on Facebook, Emily Jane, or Emily Red Rose Recovery, I think it is. Bradley, if you can just, here, let me put on here, because I feel like I'm talking to myself. Emily Jane, if you send me a message, sweetheart, and I will be in touch with you. Right. Do we need to bring it to an end? Because I've sang now and everyone's like, oh, shit.
I think it's a good time to wrap it up, innit? I
think it is. I'm going to go and have a cup of tea now. Because that's how I roll now, and a broken dippy biscuit, because that's how I roll these days.
Love it. Well, thanks for tonight, guys.
Thank you. And Dave, thank you so much. I'm going to be in touch, and I'm going to come up to the community. I'm going to come and have a brew, and we'll definitely keep in contact, because I think it's really interesting what you have to offer.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's been it's been fantastic.
Yeah,
Love to be part of this.
thank you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys.
Thank you very much. Yes, take care, everybody.
See
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.